Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei is either dead or he stepped down and is no longer in the picture. Just today, he was seen missing from this huge funeral of Iran's top military commanders and nuclear scientists that were wiped out in this war. In fact, he hasn't been seen since June 11th. And remember, about 5 days ago on June 23rd, they were already mentioning the list of successors for Khamenei, and then all of a sudden it's gone very quiet. This is just my theory. He is no longer in power, and now the Iranian military is in charge of the entire government, and they are the ones who have been negotiating with the United States. But I don't know how well that's going to go, because now Iran has suspended cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency. It's called the IAEA, and they are like the UN's nuclear watchdog. In fact, the IAEA were the experts who said that the nuclear sites were heavily damaged. At least Fordow, the centrifuges were completely eliminated. In Estefan and Natanz, they were severely damaged, but not utterly destroyed. But even though those sites were destroyed, there's still, 900 kilograms or almost 2,000 pounds of 60% enriched uranium that made it out of these sites and is now nowhere to be found. But remember, US and Iran's opponent Intel saw the nuclear material being moved from these sites. We saw massive trucks exiting Fordow. It is my opinion, and I'm thinking my opinion only, is that we know exactly where all of that nuclear material is. It's maybe being used as some sort of bargaining chip between Iran and the West. I don't know exactly what for. For all we know, the IRGC and the Iranian government has already completely surrendered to the West, and they were just giving up their nuclear material in order to stay in power for however long they can. But we don't know how long that's going to be, because like I said in the beginning of my post, we don't know if the Supreme Leader is in power or even alive. This plays exactly into the hands of Iran's opponent. If you are not aware, Israel Katz is the defense minister for Iran's opponent, and he said that they are working on the second phase of this conflict. This is the original writing in Hebrew. I'll show you the English translation. Even though there's a ceasefire, he already instructed the IDF to prepare an enforcement plan against Iran, which includes pretty much all of the stuff that was done to Iran during the conflict. My theory is that we are witnessing now the second phase of the conflict. The first phase was the 12-day war, and that was just the destruction of overall civilian suppression infrastructure and, of course, defanging the Iranian military. We know for a fact that there are still enemy commandos operating in Iran. We don't even know how many spies are still there, and we also don't know how many militias have been formed inside Iran to start taking over the government, which hasn't been this weak since 1978. Because if you think that Iran's opponent 18-year plan that finally went into execution was just to weaken the military, then I have a bridge to sell you. I am the Geo Hussar, and I just want to say to all the trolls who said that the ceasefire wouldn't last more than a day, haha, thanks for watching.